Where you from? Man, I'm from down in the valley.
I got people trying to wish and pray that I'ma fall about it, all about it till we spoke in person. Don't wanna talk about it now, huh? Oh, you sound tough, toying with them, don't get wound up. How you wound up? Another number in the round up. Put the town up, built the sling up.
You mean like San Antonio? Nah, man, farther.
Got the east side flow. I'm a giant in the space like FIFA. All the
956.
kids
V's up, player.
EIO. Every time when they see my show, thinking that it happened overnight.
Let's start the show, Wattis.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Danny with Down in the Valley Sports. I'm here with Roy, and we got someone special here in the house, one of the inaugural members of our UTRGV football team, an all-conference lineman, and just a trench dog all around, holding it down on the left side. How you doing today, Wes Thompson?
I'm doing great. That was a heck of an intro.
Yeah, we like to make our guests feel a little special, you know. Roy, I'll kick it over to you to see if we can get into a little rapid fire.
Yeah, we've been doing rapid fire, but I noticed that a lot of shows are doing it. So I wanted to do something a little different with Wes coming on, all conference. So we got to change it up a little bit. So I don't know if you've heard of this one, Wes, where you give three different things out and you say start, bench, or cut. Have
I've
you heard
seen
of
that.
that one?
I
Yeah,
have. Let's
it's
do
kind
that.
of cool. I haven't seen anybody doing it locally, right? So we try to be a little bit different. So I'm gonna throw a couple out there. We can talk about it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Start, bench, or cut. First one, offensive line. Trent Williams, Penny Sewell, or Lane Johnson. Who you gonna start? Who you gonna bench? And who you gonna cut?
I will start Trent Williams. I think he's the greatest of all time, so I got to start him.
Ooh,
We'll bench Panay Sewell, and then we'll have to cut Lane Johnson, even though he is great.
that's a tough one, huh? Those
It
guys are
is very
nice,
tough. All
man.
three good players.
Yeah, but Trent Williams, I think he is going to go down as one of the best ones. If you just watch some of his videos, they're violent. And then I like a big man that has a little swagger. So he's dancing and moving. You know what? That brings me to my next one. I had that one farther down, but I've seen you on TikTok, my boy. You got some aura and some swagger yourself, right? The next one is playing video games, TikTok or Instagram. Start, bench, or cut.
Ooh, I'll say I'm very active on Instagram, so I'll have to start it. I'll binge TikTok, and then unfortunately, I will have to cut playing video games. Unfortunately, I do. I like the game, but especially during season, I'm not on it a lot.
I got to ask about these TikTok ones, man, because I have TikTok, as you know, because I think you've seen mine. They suck. I'm not a great TikTok guy. I try, but one, I'm too old. I don't know what's cool, right? So I do a like '90s hip hop, which I know, and 2000s hip hop, which you kids don't even care about. Um, but you're pretty active on that, man. Like that one, where do you find some of these songs? The songs you have are pretty cool.
Yeah, all over the place. Either people text them to me, I'll find them just
Mm.
listening. At practice or whatever. Hey, I'll pick up a lyric or something. I'll be like, I like that. I pick them up all over the place. I wasn't even active on TikTok till I got down here. Then I posted one. And the fans loved it, so I've been pretty active since.
Man, keep it up, man, because I'm a fan. Whenever I see on my message board that Wes has a new one, I'm on it, and I do my palm trees with the V because I kind of do that everywhere. People probably notice it because I put it on all the comments. Like, who's this guy, this old guy trying to throw the palm tree on there? But so keep up with that one. All right, my next one: tacos, barbecue, or Italian food. Start, bench, cut.
Yeah, I'm gonna start Italian for sure. I'm a big Italian guy. I love it.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure. And then I'll bench the tacos. I am, especially since coming down here, I became a even bigger tacos fan. I got tacos tonight for dinner. Uh,
yeah,
what is it, Thursday? Kind of a taco Thursday, I guess will count. And then
yeah.
I'll cut the barbecue. Although I do like the Texas barbecue better than the back home barbecue. I like it a little bit
Ooh.
down here.
I think Waters has some questions on back home, so that's a good one. So, Italian food. Did you have a chance to go to Meatball Cafe at the island?
Oh, I have actually. Me and my mom ate it
Hmm.
last year at Fourth of July. Yeah, it was good. We had the pizza and something else from it.
You know what's cool? It's really good, but it's not cheap, my boy. Not cheap. That place is expensive. I went there with my daughters and I was like, all right, let's go grab this, man. It was a $200 banger on the old credit card. So luckily I get 2% back cash back. So I swipe that bad boy. So that's a good one. Here's another one: run blocking, pass blocking, or pancake blocks. Ooh, I like that one.
All right. Well, obviously you got to put the pancake block start. Nothing better,
Yes.
I mean, that is the best. Then I will say pass blocking because I think it's such a technical thing and there's so many different ways you can go about it. And then we'll cut run blocking, but I mean, all three are good. All three pay the bills.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Chalk them up. And then my last one is a kind of a music one. Uh, start, bench, cut. Drake, Kendrick, Travis Scott.
Ooh. All right. I will start Drake. We'll bench
Mm,
Kendrick. Yeah, and we'll cut Travis.
okay. I knew you were a Drake guy. I just felt it.
I like Drake
I
a lot.
felt it.
I'm a
Okay.
big
Now I know
fan,
if I do an edit, I'm gonna hit you with the Drake for sure.
for
He's got
sure.
All right. I'll pass it back to Danny.
Yeah, he's got good beats. I mean, you can't beat him, you know. And but if you're a lyricist and you want that poetry, then most people opt for Kendrick. But I lived in, a fun fact. I actually lived in Alabama for about 5 years. You know, shortly after graduating, from the UTRGV Legacy institution. And it's a special place, man. I actually really enjoyed myself out there. So I wanted to throw some Alabama questions to you because my one of my best friends and coworkers is from Muscle Shoals, and actually my other buddy is also from Addison, Alabama. So I don't know if you know where that's at. It's a smaller town, but he gave me a heads up. So have you ever jumped off the bluffs into the Tennessee River?
I have multiple times.
Tell us about that.
Multiple times.
So, yeah, they're all over the place. There's this really tall one, which I thought people jumped off of. So I was growing up, I was terrified. I was like, that thing's way too tall. I mean, it was like 100 feet. And then when I got a little older, people were like, nah, bro, no one jumps off that one. There's smaller ones. So no, I have jumped off of them. It's like a hike. It's like a day event. You go jump off the bluff. It's like, hey man, you want to go jump off the bluff? Sure, let's do it. So you'll walk over there, climb up. I don't know, a 40-foot bluff. There's like a little
Whoa.
ledge. Yeah, they're tall up. They're high up there, man. Jump off them, climb back up there, do it again. There's I don't know, five or six all around town. Yeah, that's some elite ball knowledge from you.
There you go. I got a couple more for you. So back home, do you cross the old bridge or the new bridge to Florence?
I would say I do. All right. I would say when I'm in a hurry, the new bridge because it's bigger. But if you want to do like a scene, or if you want to look out everywhere, I do
Sightseeing.
like crossing over the old bridge, the dam. It is a little cooler, but it's the roads are so small. I usually do the new one. People can fly up and down that one. The old ones takes a little. You got to
This is
focus in on that one.
this is the
Yeah,
most Alabama any show has ever been in the Valley ever.
yeah. It's a great man coming from. So think about it this way. I'm backwards compared to what you're going through. I started in the Valley, born and raised, and then moved to Alabama. And look, I get it. And I talk to people from the South, and like the Gulf Coast is a completely different vibe than like Central or North Alabama too. So it's all a good time. So last question. To continue with the food theme is: have you ever been to 360 Grill?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, that's probably our one of our nicest ones. I also shout out Georgia Steak Pit. Those are the
Ooh.
two nice restaurants in town. Yeah, you go to 360. It's where you take a date if you really like her, and yeah, I've been there. It's a pretty nice little area.
You've been there a time or two then, huh?
A couple times.
Lover boy, lover boy, lover boy. We don't
Gotcha.
want to get Wes in trouble, man. You got a girl or something. I don't want to mess up his vibe.
No, no, he's cool. Hey, ladies, chill out. He's a good boy. A good man, young man, good young man. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and segue into maybe the foundation. You know, we are talking about your roots. Speaking of Alabama, so like, take us through your roots, like growing up, like What developed your mindset, to play football? I mean, because high school football is hard, and it's even harder at the next level playing college ball. So, tell us about yourself growing up, and how you developed your mindset to play at a high level.
Yeah, growing up, I knew I was going to play football. My dad he's a Hall of Famer at North Alabama. He coaches football. He still coaches football. So I really didn't have a choice. Which I mean, my parents always said, if you didn't want to, you didn't have to. I actually grew up. The first thing I ever wanted to do was be a tuba player. Uh,
Oh,
but then the tuba was a little too heavy, so I kind of transitioned into football. But no, I love it. But yeah, no. My pathway into it, like I said, I've been coached hard my whole life growing up. My dad was my coach, so he expected perfection, and so I had to give that to him. My head coach, Coach Bajan, he just retired like a month ago, actually. He hadn't had a losing season in like 20 years, so
Oh
I knew,
wow.
yeah, you have to win, you have to be perfect, and you're going to go against good competition. So that was kind of instilled into me at a very young age that it takes what it takes. Not everyone's good, and that's fine because not everyone can be good. It's going to take what it takes, and like I said, Muscle Shoals drilled that into me. We competed so much. Wednesdays we would go to war. We would do, and everyone who's watching back home, they'll know what I'm talking about. Are the Wednesdays we would do like military drills and stuff, just
Mm.
because, just to instill a mindset that when we got to playoffs, we were tougher than anyone, and it's still, I'm still in that mindset that I think it takes what it takes. You have to do the hard work, and if you don't, probably won't be very successful.
shout out to your dad and your mom. I had a chance to meet them at one of the games, and they were super cool to me. And I told you a quick story before we jumped on. Is when your dad was walking, I knew exactly whose son he was based on the walk. So shout out to Coach Thompson. I didn't know he was a Hall of Famer at North Alabama though. So that's
He
a big
is,
one right there. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool to hear.
yeah. I
Now,
got some big shoes to fill for sure. I said, but it's a challenge, and I love challenges.
that's great to hear, and I'm kind of drawing some parallels from your time at Muscle Shoals and your time now here at UTRGV. Because I talked to my buddy, he said Muscle Shoals wasn't a great football team back when he grew up in the 2000s,
Not
and
at all.
and then we looked them up, and it was like, oh, they've actually done really well since he left, and so you've elevated the standard, you helped elevate the standard and continue it, right? At Muscle Shoals, and you're trying to do the same thing here at UTRGV.
Yeah, for sure. No, when my dad was playing at Muscle Shoals, I think they were okay, but then there was a stretch there where they were bad. Everyone wanted to play at Muscle Shoals. And like I said, Coach Basin came in and changed the culture, and I was grateful to be a part of that. And now we can't find people to play us. Literally, we cannot find. We'll play 9 games this year because people will refuse to play us, which I like. You shouldn't want to play the Trojans. Yeah, I still am very prideful of them. Like I said, they'll do great this year. But yeah, like you said, we had to set a standard here at UTRGV. We had nothing to go off of. No one. It wasn't like, hey, 5 years ago we were great and we've been great ever since. It was, hey, who are we? So yeah, when I came in, I did want to help, and there's other people who've done that. Coach Bush has done a great job of this as well. But being a tough team, being a team that does what it takes, and like I said, it paid off last year, but that was last year. We got to focus again, keep doing what it does, because if we ride the coattail of last year into this year, well, we won't be very good this year. So you got to reset, take it one game at a time, one day at a time, win today, and like I said, we'll continue to do what it takes, and we'll see how it pays off this year.
Sir, Roy, I'll kick it over to you to get into the next segment.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of big things for me to kind of point out. I mean, last season was a great season, and you guys did some really, really good things. Before you got there, obviously there was a lot of recruiting going on, and you had a different type of route. You went to, I believe, JUCO, right? And you were able to come from JUCO to UTRGV. Can you talk to me a little bit about your recruiting out of high school, right? Kind of that, and then also from East Mississippi. And I think that's the Netflix show place, right? Everybody probably
It
hits
is.
you up about that. I'm a huge fan of that show, buddy. I like when the guy punched him, he punched him back. He was bobbing and weaving, right? He gave him a little two-piece special, right? So I just want to know, how was your recruiting out of high school, and JC, what stood out about UTRGV?
Yeah, so out of high school, I was probably 6 foot tall going into my 10th grade
What?
year. Yeah, I was. I started out taller than everybody, then everybody caught up, and then COVID, I got taller than everybody again. So going into high school, I was just I just playing football to play football, help the Trojans win. Then about junior year, I grew, and I was like, okay, I have a chance that I could make something out of this. So I started hitting up camps, started getting some pretty, people would come talk to me, some big schools. I know Alabama and Kentucky were probably my two biggest ones that talked to me out of high school.
Wow.
Then, like I said, the COVID year hit, so some of the bigger schools kind of dropped off. I ended up still picking up some FCS offers, committed to Tennessee Tech, spent a year there. Then, like you
Ooh.
said, went to East Mississippi, which I hadn't even seen Last Chance U before I went there. Signed the papers to play there before I'd watched the show. Probably a mistake, but the show was very accurate. Like you said, Coach Stevens, he's an intense guy for sure.
Hmm.
That's all. I'll leave that at that. I like Coach Stevens. But yeah, I go there. We take care of business. I end up getting more offers than I thought. But yeah, UTRGV was my first offer, and I had the only thing I'd seen about them was at senior year of high school. Some guy posted a TikTok, like you said, pretty active on there, and it was like, "There's this new school coming up," and it showed all the helmets, and I was like, "Hey, that's cool. They got cool uniform stuff. Hopefully, they do good." Oh, well, they offered me. I'm like, oh crap, it's a full circle moment. So I ended up taking a visit because I was like, I mean, I got to check this place out. And I actually know one of the coaches, Coach Barella, recruited me out of high school.
Tight
So
ends coach, yeah.
yeah, he called me and was like, "What's up?" He's like, "You remember me?" I said, "Absolutely." He's like, "Let's do it, man." So I took a visit, got down here. I was like, "Dang, it's hot," uh, but I loved everything I saw about it. The facilities were good. The coaches are what I fell in love with. They were amazing. It's everyone who's been on a visit will know. You know what school's right. It's just a feeling, like a gut feeling. I knew it was right here. I tried to tell myself I didn't want to come 18 hours away from home, so I took other visits, took some closer home, and every time I'd go there, I'd be like, man, it's not UTRGV. And
Yeah.
I sat down, and I was like, my mom was like, so what are you looking for? And I told her, she's like, well, it's not going to get better than that. And I said, you're right. Called Coach Bowen, told him I was ready. I called Coach Bush. First thing he said, he goes, you ready to commit? I said, yes, sir. Signed the paper. Came down here a couple months later.
Man, that's really really good to hear that the environment and just the valley. We talked to a lot of different players, and we've talked to a lot of different people about their experience with UTRGV and the experience of what they thought about it, and it's kind of similar. And I think that has a lot to do with the community and how you feel when you get here. Something to go kind of from last season, because obviously it was a historic season, right? 9-3. You guys only allowed 1.5 sacks per game. There were some statistics that you guys were one of the best lines in the country, right? And there were some pretty cool stare there. What was the toughest stretch of the year for you individually for this season?
I would say losing our first game was tough because everyone when you get that 4-0, 5-0, feel unbeatable, and everyone's hyping you up. But I would say the middle of the season, just mentally, because you come into the season, everyone's amped. You're juiced the first couple games, and when you're in the season, you can kind of we were playoff hopeful, so we were playing for something. But middle of the season, those middle games kind of just get monotonous and just you're every week's the same, just a different opponent. So I would say the mental part is probably middle, but physically, the end of the year, everyone's beat up. You're dragging along, but I would say probably those games. Hardest games, Lamar. Lamar was a tough one, mentally and physically. Y'all know it's harder to lose a game in the last seconds than it is to get blown out the whole time because you have hope going in. I mean, heck, 10 seconds left. I still think, we're coming out of it. We're going to sneak out of this one with a win. Didn't play out that way, so that one hurts. That one still hurts. I still think we should they escaped that
Yeah.
one. But we'll figure that out this year, and that's fine.
Yeah, I know after having such a big year, obviously, I would imagine, without asking too many personal questions, you had options, right? I would imagine that you had some people probably knocking at the door and trying to get you away from UTRGV, and we're happy that you stayed, and we're happy that you saw the vision because it's going to make us better. If someone were to ask you, why did you stay, and it's something that for you, what made the biggest difference? What would you say?
Yeah, yeah, you're completely right. I did have the opportunity to leave. Chose to stay for many reasons. I'm First of all, I'm very happy where I'm at. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have stayed, and I think I'm living proof that I've dipped out twice before. But the coaching staff, I love every coach we have, and we just brought in a couple new ones, and I like them as well. Plus, we have some unfinished business. I wasn't happy. 9-3, it is a good year, but I think we have a very good chance at winning the Southland. And unlike my dad, I don't have any rings. I played for some very good programs and haven't got a ring yet. So, I got to get some hardware before I think about doing any of that. And I think we have, I looked at my options and I was like, I'd rather stay here and win one with the boys, make history again. And I think we have that opportunity this year. So I wanted to stay. Plus, like I said, the fans, man, it's hard to beat you guys. I mean, y'all are great. So it wasn't a hard decision, to be honest with you. I thought about it. It just wasn't for me. I'd rather play for a team that has the support of the family that like y'all do. Y'all support us great, and we love playing for y'all. And like I said, we're going to try to win that ring, and I think we can. I think we have the pieces to do it. We brought back all but one of the starting offensive line, so that was another part. I'm bringing my guys back. I think we're only going to get better. And I love working with my left guard, Nick Hughes. I love
Yeah.
working with him. I think he's a heck of a player. I think we make each other a lot better. I think we work well together. So we don't even have to communicate at times, which we should. We really should communicate, but we don't even have to. We kind of know what each other's thinking. But yeah, I think we have, like I said, we have the chance for the Southland Conference, and that was the top thing on my mind was winning a ring before I think about doing anything like that.
Yes, I would imagine Coach Thompson, your pops, probably looks at you and gives you the ring signal every once in a while, like come get one of these. Like I don't know if it was Friday Night Lights, right? When he's
Yeah.
talking to his sons, like get you one of these. So
Hmm.
that's pretty cool to hear that you're focused on that and winning is important. So I think we have the right things, like you said, to make happen. I'll pass it back to you, Danny.
Yeah, man, it kind of warms my heart hearing you talk about all that. Like, wanting to stick around and this is. I mean, I know it's not your hometown, but it's become your home, right? You're doing it for your city. You're doing it for the Rio Grande Valley and all the fans that support y'all, and so that's awesome to hear. You touched a little bit on like offensive line play. So for the fans out there that don't know much about how the offensive line gets things done. The offensive line, the Stretch Dogs, are a little underrated. They don't get all the glory. So what do fans misunderstand about what you have to do day in and day out and playing game by game?
Yeah, I would say it's a very underrated position. Of course, I'm biased, but I think a lot of people think it is just like brute strength and moving people, which at times it is. Inside the five.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is. Who's bigger, who's stronger, who can move someone. But
Hmm.
I think I touched on it earlier. I said pass pro is my favorite because of how technical it is, and I
Hmm.
would say the technique is something people skip over a lot. Like I said, they think it's more brute strength when in reality it's mental games. It's how can I switch up what I'm doing? If I give this guy the same pass set 10 times in a row, well, he's going to figure out how to beat that one. So can I jump set him? Can I quick set him?
Hmm.
Do I throw a fake hand up there? Do I punch with my left hand? Do I clamp with my right? Things like that. Technique, I would say your footwork. Like I said, just switching up stuff. I think it's so beneficial to be unpredictable because what they game plan, you game plan the whole week for something, and then the day of the game, he doesn't do any of that. Okay, well the
Right.
game plan just went out the window. Now you have to go to the drawing board. Well, if I can do that, if I can switch it up until the last, you don't figure me out until the last 4 minutes of the game. Well, I've already won. Like I said, you can do whatever you want those last 4 minutes. We'll see who can play football better. But if I've already distracted him, and I just have to take my guy out of the game, which I think that's a lot easier than, let's say, Eddie Lee Marburger, who has to read the defense. And like I said, I just have to neutralize one guy, and I think if I can do that by confusing him and giving him stuff he's not used to, which like I said, I've been told I play a very unique style of offensive line, not like anyone they've ever seen. That's what our defensive ends tell me, but my dad, I've had a lot of coaching, and it is pretty unique, but it works. Uh, but yeah, I would say just switching it up, mental, and game planning. I would say that a lot of people don't think it takes a lot of game planning. I'm the same way they're game playing me. I'm game playing them. Do they have any tails? If his right foot's back, well, does that mean he's going inside? By his alignment,
Mm.
if him and the defensive tackle get close to each other, or do they twist a lot out of that? What is his favorite pass route? What's he good at? What's he not good at? And how can I game plan against that? And then same thing is, when he starts figuring it out, switch it up again. So I would say it's just the technique is people overlook it a lot, just how technically sound you have to be. I'd say that, just and your feet. People think more just brute strength firing off the ball, but everything's down to a little tiny details, which is the simplest thing, but it's also the hardest thing.
Yeah, no, that's really good insight. Pulling the curtain back on what it takes to play, your position at a high level. You were talking a little bit about, some tails and the opponent on the other side of that line. So, looking back and actually not even just looking back to last year, but across your entire offensive line career, like who's been the toughest opponent you've taken on, and are you still learning things from like teammates today on what they're doing?
Yeah, for sure. The game is ever evolving. New stuff is coming out every day. New pass rush moves. Okay, well now I have to figure out how to defend that when I see that. I've
Right.
had some great teammates across the board. East Mississippi, our defensive line was littered with Power Five commits, so I got to go against them every day. And even at Tennessee Tech, we had a couple guys who transferred out who went Power Five. One's at Houston right now.
Nice.
So I've gone against them, and I think that's only made me better. I think you go against, iron sharpens iron. You go against good competition. Well, if you have the best in the conference going against you every day, it's no secret you're going to do fare well in the conference, which I think we have some great defensive ends. I'll never tell them that, but I do think they are very elite. I think we have probably seven guys who are very good and who will play, and y'all will see them. And like I said, I love going against them because I know, uh, what they do is probably the best in the conference, and is going to help me. Is going to help me get better, which is what I want. I think you're either growing or you're declining. No one ever stays the same. So you just got to keep growing, and I think they can help me do that. And that's why another reason I stayed here. We got some good players who can keep me evolving. That's it,
I love that mindset, that growth mindset.
for sure.
Rory, back to you.
Yeah, to put a bow on it for me is if you look at the background, you have the scoreboard, right? And then to the right of that, the third section over is section 114 where I'm at, right? And I know last year your linemen have, I would say, top three celebrations in the whole FCS. I know you had a couple ones that I saw that were pretty fun, and you guys really get into the celebrations of it. Do you guys rehearse that? I know Gannon had the guitar one, which I had. I thought it was Gannon. It wasn't you. I think it was Gannon, right? And then you've had some where you're picking up I think Tony, and you've had some really cool ones. Is any of that stuff rehearsed?
I don't think it's rehearsed. Skill guys maybe, but I think for linemen, man, we're so fired up. It's so rewarding. You work so hard in each drive, and when they finally do score, it's like you hit the lottery.
Yeah.
and I'm just, I think it's incredible what they do. Like I said, my job's one guy. They have so much crap they have to focus about. I think they do, a great job. And no, it's just pure adrenaline, excitement. Like I said, I don't even know. I get videos sent after a game. They're like, "Man, you were cool." Man, I don't even know. I'm just so excited and in the moment that it's just pure, just excitement and joy. Like I said, I'm out there having a great time.
No, I love it, and I love how the line. I feel like our line really gets into it, and like I said, next time if you want to just turn to the right at section 114, I'll be up there. You can't miss me. So I would love to see a celebration. But for me, I just want to show like because that's something linemen. You get the Tony Diaz, you get the Xavion. Those guys have their dance, and they're awesome. But I enjoyed the linemen getting at it myself.
Big
So
boys.
I want to see more of it. Obviously, we don't want any flags, right? But within the rules, I think you guys do a good job on that. So I'm happy about that, and I want the fans to hear that. But I'll pass it back to you, Danny, to finish up.
Yeah, one last question before we wrap up. Going into you're gonna come out of spring here, play the spring game, focus on you know the growing through the summer and going into fall camp. So for you, what's your off season focus going into 2026?
I really think, just keep getting bigger, stronger, faster. Just which I mean, that's every year. You're never going to be, oh, I'm the strongest I need to be. But for me personally, I would just say clean up technique and stuff. But as a team, I think I really just want to get everyone just humble. We don't need to go into next year thinking like we're owed anything because we're not. We had one good year, which when you dig down to it, we accomplished the same as the person last in the conference did. We didn't win the conference and we didn't go to playoffs. So, statistically, we had a better season than them. I think it was Northwestern State, but in reality, we did not. I'm not into we won 4 more games than y'all because we both accomplished the same thing. We didn't go to playoffs. We didn't get a ring. We were both home for Thanksgiving. So I said I would just I'm gonna try to keep everyone humble, make sure everyone's working hard, which we will. We owe it to y'all to do that. I said y'all pour into us, so we have no choice. We'll have to pour back into y'all and give y'all a product worth watching.
That's great, man. Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. Because throughout this interview, what I've heard is your own personal development, but how it would eventually contribute to the team. So that mindset is not just of growth, but prioritizing the team first and trying to accomplish things as a team, like making the playoffs, winning the conference, eventually going to play for a championship. So, Roy, yeah, one last thing before we wrap up.
Yeah, are you going to be a coach, Wes?
I am probably going to be a coach in the future.
Yeah,
I said I'm gonna ride this football thing out till I can't walk. Then we'll be a
yeah.
coach, probably a strength coach, just because
Okay.
I, I I'm really focused into the science of the building the muscle and stuff like that, and what you can put into your body to fuel. Which, like you said, in games, I'm kind of in a mode. I'm all so much pre-workout that I'm out of my mind. I'm all cylinders.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we used to
Hey,
have a ephedrine back when I was in college. That was crazy. It was a Xenadrin, or there was some ephedrine laced stuff that's illegal now, but it was
Yeah.
legal back then. It probably didn't do well for my liver because I would take it. It started off, I would take it only on track meet days. Then it was, oh, well, I'm going to take it on Mondays during clean days. Then it was Tuesdays for squat days. And, that stuff can make you real wild. But to the point, I just hear a lot of opportunity with coaching with you, man. And that makes me, to me, when you were talking about the skill of it, you almost had me doing the chuck, right? Look at, the fake hand and doing all those things. So I hope you do, right? And I hope it's here at UTRGV someday because I think it's definitely within your wheelhouse. 'Cause I can hear just by the detail of what you're doing that you do have a passion for it. So just wanted to tell you that. And then, thank you for doing this. I mean, I'll pass it back to Danny, but this is a big one for us because we definitely are huge fans of you. And I think we spoke on our last show, right? We were talking about who's the face of the offense, right? And we talked about the quarterbacks, and we talked about the receivers, and we talked about the running backs, but we finished with the trench dogs, and we finished with the motor of the whole engine or ship, whatever you want to call it, starts up front. Because if you guys can move bodies, we're going to average 4.5 yards a carry, right? We're going to allow, whether it be Aiden, Garrett, or Chavez, an extra 2 seconds to drop to the second or third option. So we're big fans, and we're going to do some more depth coverage stuff. But I wanted to say thank you, and we appreciate you doing this with us and give us some insight. And I know the fans will enjoy it. And I'll pass it back to Danny to finish it off.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you doing this too, Wes. It was a pleasure to talk ball with you and learn more about you. The fans are going to love this one. So, and speaking to y'all, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on all the socials. These up.
Let's go.